A third new Xbox. Games are going to cost $70 on next gen. Is Xbox Series S holding back Series X? And your weekly gaming news recap and cooking review coming right up. Welcome back everyone to Sodi Pop right here on YouTube. I'm Maddie. Today is Friday, July 3rd. Happy 4th of July weekend if you're going to celebrate. Remember to be safe. Well, to start with, of course, we have our weekly gaming news recap. But if you're looking for more in-depth coverage throughout the week, be sure to check out Chatty with Maddie every Monday and Wednesday. I have my drink. Let's chat. All right, to begin with, just a little recap of the news. We have Sony patents and AR gaming visor coming from the game post here. We went over it a bit, but essentially is a wearable mount that would display the HUD or heads-up display, and even go so far as to target your actual in-game adversary using your eye movement. So really cool. Again, it is a patent, so not necessarily something we are guaranteed to see. Also here we have Roberto Serrano saying that July 13th is the PS5 price release date and pre-order. Again, take that with a grain of salt because we have seen some credible things from this guy before, but July 13th, again, Xbox and PlayStation are going to go back and forth on price. Neither one wants to announce too early since the other one can pivot and possibly come in cheaper than their competition. So I really doubt that PlayStation would announce so early. And again, coming from Jeff Grubb of GamesBeat or VentureBeat, he has said that most of the prices will come in August. So be wary of that particular news. Also on Wednesday, we did cover that the new Batman game could have a Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War like Nemesis system. Again, this was the system where you were able to battle a foe. If the foe escaped or maybe got injured, maybe got an ear cut off by you, they would come back stronger and with a vendetta against you, remembering your actual fight. It's a really awesome system that has not been used in games really since. I'm speculating it's because of the lack of power of the current consoles, especially maybe the CPU, since that might be the reason the more formidable AI processes can't work on this current gen quite as well. Also, we have the Animal Crossing update officially launched today, so you can don a swimming suit and actually go swimming in the ocean. You just got to press the A button, you swim around, press Y to dive down, and then you can pick up a mollusk, clam. I have a sea anemone, all these different things. You can get a whole bunch of stuff to actually put in the museum. It's actually really cool. And then if you're looking for a swimsuit, well, yes, you can get it in the Tom Nook, kind of where you get your bell deposit area, but it takes a while for it to get to your house. Even better, go to the Timmy and Tommy store and you go and check out their little cupboard of stuff. That's where you can buy a swimsuit to use right then and there. So if you want to play the update, make sure you download it and then go right to Timmy and Tommy and get the swimsuit directly from them. Also, Monster Hunter is teasing a new Monster Hunter World Iceborne monster in the Forum of Altreon here, coming July 9th, 2020. So if you're hankering for more Monster Hunter and you have the Iceborne edition, go ahead and check that out. It is a big flame dragon, looks really awesome. Iron Man VR is officially out today. It's done pretty well on Metacritic at a 74. Some critics going for 90, some critics of course lower. This is a very big average. So if you're looking for a new VR game, especially available on PlayStation VR, go ahead and check that out. Also, I wanted to give you a little update on a story that we covered this week. Dr. Disrespect. As of last Friday, Dr. Disrespect was reported to be permanently banned from Twitch. Now, there is still no news as to why. A couple of people have come out and said, we know why, and it's a serious issue. Dr. Disrespect and his wife have both come out and said, thanks for the support, everyone. We don't know why. Some of his friends have come out and said, we don't know why. And then just a little recap, his sponsors initially dropped him and then reinstated him pretty darn quickly. So we can see that with Game Fuel, with Mountain. Other than maybe sexual impropriety and stuff like that, which are just hearsay and rumors at this point, the other really interesting fact is that he signed a big life-changing amount of money agreement with Twitch back when Mixer was still around. If you remember, Mixer fell, Ninja and Shroud were both paid out their entire contract by Mixer. So this guy, let me go ahead and play the clip, has a really interesting feed on what he thinks could have happened here.
Like Dr. Disrespect. And so as of last week, their entire world changed because Twitch now had a relationship with a figure that was very popular, but also very problematic. And they also potentially had the ability to go sign up those people that they might like more in Ninja and Shroud. So while I don't think that the story on 4chan about these three getting together and making a competing streaming service is what happened here for the reasons that I've already discussed, because you can just say if you're Twitch, hey, he was breaching exclusivity or he was breaching that multi-million-dollar contract that we entered into with him, and that can be your statement, and then go from there. That you point it to the terms and conditions and community guidelines suggest it's a little more waffly. And in this space, with a Dr. Disrespect that causes trouble for you, with Ninja and Shroud now available, I think you get into a situation where maybe, if you're Twitch, you say, okay, this guy is problematic. Maybe we get a few hints or whispers or complaints about his behavior in the recent past. How can we get out of our contract? Because we've signed him onto multi-million-dollar deals. And how can we get out of them, both so that we're not affiliated with him anymore in the space that we're now dealing with, and also so that maybe we can sign back up those people that are now available to us and that maybe we prefer in this space. And that leads you to the terms of service and the community guidelines. Because in your exclusive relationship with Dr. Disrespect, and I can't speak to the specific language used in these kinds of agreements, but in one of these
So really interesting there, essentially saying that Twitch is trying to figure out how to get out of their multi-million-dollar contract with Dr. Disrespect because they only signed him to that contract to make sure he didn't go over to Mixer. He wasn't being paid anywhere that amount of money, and now Ninja and Shroud are free agents again, so perhaps, hey, we can get rid of Dr. Disrespect, we can lowball Ninja and Shroud because they have nowhere else to go, and then we can actually get them on, which, you know, we deem as more popular. And Dr. Disrespect has a history of doing some kind of uncouth things. You know, the other last year he was banned for a little bit because he streamed inside of a TwitchCon bathroom or a bathroom of a convention. So really interesting. I think one of the more maybe believable stories that we've seen, especially we haven't seen any arrests, we haven't seen any other statements. I thought, you know, that was a really funny take on it and could be true, would really be unfortunate if it were true as well. Really, really shady of Twitch. I don't know why Twitch would want to damage their reputation so much, but again, they're one of the few players in the games. Of course, you have YouTube gaming and Facebook gaming, but they aren't going as hard at these big guys as Mixer was. So take that for what you will. I thought that was a kind of a cool update. And then again, if you haven't yet, please like, follow, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of what's going on with Dr. Disrespect. Do you think that is a feasible thing that Twitch could be doing? It's really, really crazy and interesting story. I'm sure we'll be learning more in the coming weeks, months as well. But again, if you haven't, please subscribe. It really helps me out, helps me get out to more people who hopefully enjoy this content. And then, of course, share on your social media. Share with your friends if you think they would be interested. All right, moving on to some of the bigger stories of Friday and then this past week. So number one, as of today, Sony's PS4 hit Horizon Zero Dawn is officially coming August 7th to the PC. Now we saw Death Stranding coming to the PC just a few days ago with some amazing enhancements, both the Steam and Epic Game Store. Here we're seeing enhancements for Horizon Zero Dawn. So a little bit further on this Verge article, we have the video game lays out a number of features and improvements coming to the PC version, including ultra-wide display. Awesome, I have an ultra-wide display. Unlocked frame rate, amazing dynamic foliage, deep graphics, customization settings, improved reflections, and expanded controller options. It all looks fantastic in this 90-second trailer. So go ahead and check out the trailer if you are so interested. Also, in other Sony news, we have a bid for Hong Kong listed gaming firm Leu. This is coming direct from Bloomberg. Now, who are they? Well, they have a few hit free-to-play games. We have Warframe, which is on every single platform, performs really well even on something like the Switch. I played on the Switch, PS4, and PC. I didn't get super into it on either platform, but it is a third-person shooting game, very reminiscent of something like Destiny. It is a free-to-play. You can play with multiple different people, but there are closed solo missions. It's not just this open kind of Destiny-like world. Also, they have the game Dirty Bomb, and they are working with Amazon.com Incorporated on a Lord of the Rings fantasy series. So that would be really big. I've heard something like SNK is part of them as well, of course, known for a lot of different fighting games. So keep in line with that. It's number one, the big takeaway from the story for me is that Sony is looking to acquire more studios and grow their stable of really excellent studios. We know that Xbox has been growing their game studios for the past few years after missing out. I mean, Xbox really didn't have any big exclusives, or many exclusives I should say, for the Xbox One, but they've been building their stable of developers. Xbox now has about 15 in-house developers for first party. Also, Evo here is canceled again from VentureBeat. Evo 2020 canceled in the wake of sexual abuse allegations, coming yesterday and then updated. So I'm just going to go ahead and read you a little bit of this article. Evo's biggest fighting game event ever in the year had to go online due to the pandemic, but now that too is canceled after competitors pull out of following recent sexual abuse scandals involving the tournament's organizer. Joey Queller, who was president of Evo, has been accused of preying on young boys during the 90s and aughts. Evo announced Wednesday that it would have put Queller in administrative leave, and then today revealed that he is gone from the organization outright. So here's a statement they gave. Over the past 24 hours, in response to serious allegations recently made public on Twitter, we have made the first of a series of important decisions regarding the future of our company. Effective immediately, Joey Queller is no longer to be involved with Evo in any capacity. We are currently working towards his complete separation from the company and have relieved him from all responsibilities. Going forward, Tony Cannon will act as CEO in his position. He will take a leadership role in prioritizing greater accountability across Evo, both internally and at our events. Progress doesn't happen overnight or without bravery of those who speak up against misconduct and injustice. We are shocked and saddened by these events, but are listening and committed to making every change that will be necessary in making Evo a better model for the stronger, safer culture we all seek. As a result, we will be canceling Evo Online and will work to issue refunds to all players who chose to purchase a badge. We will donate the equivalent of the proceeds to Project Hope. That's a good move as far as the Evo organization is concerned. Obviously really upsetting to any fan of any fighting game, and we've been seeing this happen in the game industry at large. All these big accusations, obviously this one may be proven true within the organization. A lot of them I'm not a lawyer, I'm not the judge, so a lot of them it's hard to know what is true and what isn't. Ultimately, we know there's a lot of abuse going unpunished, and a lot of abuse just going kind of being swept under the floor, and that is a super sad thing to see as a huge fan of the games industry myself. We obviously have seen actually some abuse coming to light in the Smash tournament area as well, Smash Brothers. So just be wary of this. I hope any victim or any survivor of these atrocities gets their justice as well. And if you're a fan of Evo, let me know what you think below. If you know this Joey character, and if you think it's right that they canceled Evo outright. It's unfortunate that they did in light of the allegations, because it ruined, I'm sure, a very, very positive spot for many people, in this summer. It is super unfortunate. It really sucks for those who are looking forward to it. Also, Doom Eternal on the Nintendo Switch. So it's supposed to be running pretty darn well according to the actual developers here. So let me go ahead and just read you a little statement from Nintendo Everything. So Panic Button, the studio we work with on that, as I've said before, they're masters of the platform. We released Doom Eternal on the same platforms we released Doom 2016, and I thought that might be a real feather in the cap of our tech team. And I think this will be the same for Panic Button. Our engine team as well, because it kind of starts where the core that gets passed along and the optimization that's done. I think it'll be every bit as good as Doom 2016 was, and I'm super excited for people to get it. Doom 2016 performed rather well on the Nintendo Switch for being kind of an underpowered, it is an underpowered piece of hardware. Panic Button did a really great job with one of my favorite games ever, Rocket League, porting that and just getting it up to a wonderful, great, I think it's at a full 60 frames per second now. Panic Button are really great at porting games specifically to the Nintendo Switch, so I'm glad to see that. Now on to one of the bigger stories, next gen. So next gen, this article comes from Polygon, but really all over. For the past few years, I've been thinking, and I know voices in the industry like Colin Moriarty have been saying things like, at some point, the camel is going to be broken. You know, the straw is going to break the camel's back. We are going from the $60 games that we've seen forever. The price of game development has only gotten more expensive. And instead of seeing game prices get more expensive to $70 or $80, we've been seeing different tactics from the free-to-play games coming in, such as the loot boxes, the gambling, all that and such. But we haven't seen an increase in prices. Well, it seems like we are finally seeing an increase in prices. Now, I'm not surprised to see an increase in prices. I think to fund game development and to make really good games, I'd rather see that. But, and here's the big but, I want to see an increase in prices if it helps the game developers make the money they need to, but not if they're still going to these free-to-play and stupid gimmicks that they've been using to try and get more money. I don't like that at all. That is horrible and just frustrating. So NBA 2K from 2K21 will cost $70 on the PS5 and Series X with no free upgrade. Again, Cyberpunk 2077 will have a free upgrade. So will the latest Marvel Avengers game coming from Square Enix. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. On September 4th, players can pick up NBA 2K21 on Google Stadia, Switch, PS4, PC, Xbox One for the $60 price. Later in the year, the new version of 2K21 will release on the next-gen consoles, but it will cost $70. No free upgrade, $10 more than the standard version. Now, even worse, if you did want an upgrade, you have to buy the Mamba Forever version, which is $100, and it gives you the Mamba Forever version, which is their kind of expanded version with extra goodies and stuff. That will be that version on whatever platform you buy it on. So let's say you buy the Mamba Forever Edition on current gen, well, you get that Mamba Forever Edition on current gen, and then on next gen, you just get the regular standard edition. So you miss out on all the extras. If you buy the Mamba Forever Edition on next gen, well, you get it for previous gen, but you only get the standard edition on previous gen. So they're not giving you the same edition, just leading to even more confusion. Not only is the next gen going to be $10 more just to start with, but you don't have cross gen, and then if you want two versions, you're getting two different versions of the same game. Kind of a dumb, confusing way to do it. I don't like that practice at all. And I think 2K doesn't always have the best business practices when it comes to this. EA and Activision are obviously known for doing things like this. EA has their own weird way in which they're doing the free upgrade, but you still do get a free upgrade to the next gen edition within a period of like a month or two from the release of the game. So that is a positive, but it still isn't the full-blown, you get it whenever you want to. Again, Xbox had their smart delivery. PS3 with the Vita had like the cross-buy system, and PS4 had the cross-buy system. You buy it once, you get it on both systems. I mean, these are all marketing gimmicks. Again, it is down to the individual publisher of the games. That is it. Whenever you hear this stuff, it is. So be wary when you're buying games at the end of the day. What do you think about the $70 price point? I think it's expected, but I don't expect it with the inclusion of paid-for loot boxes, with the inclusion of these free-to-play gimmicks. Also, developers weigh in on the Xbox Series S. So this is something we've talked about for generations. Does developing a game for multiple consoles or multiple different SKUs make it worse off because you have to account for all these things? Well, I'm going to read what this developer has to say. This is specifically referring to the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X, but also he talks about the PlayStation. So this developer, this is coming from NeoGaf, a user at Nakana. Now, he said he spoke to one of his friends and got a quote from them. So he is, quote, working on Borderlands 3 for next gen right now, so kind of working on updating it. So most likely something like a Panic Button Studio or Bluepoint Studio, where they're a port team. That's what I'm assuming. So when I asked about Lockhart holding back next gen, he had this to say. So he had a whole bunch of statements on Lockhart. Now, originally he said the Lockhart dev kits, or the Xbox Series X dev kits, were set out, and there is a Lockhart programming section that you could use to program kind of on like a Lockhart spec, but it was still on the Xbox Series X. He said that wasn't good. When we finally got the Lockhart, so the Series S kits, the kits by themselves, it was way better. It gave a way better environment to actually optimize. So let me read a little quote from him here. He says, as of right now, you really need the Lockhart dev kit to understand it. So just what I said. For smaller teams, you could see the optimization process being more time consuming, but the tools provided by Microsoft have come a long way. They make it very easy to jump from one kit to another, and the Lockhart kit is equipped with the lot of tools that help you see exactly where code needs to be looked at. Ray tracing is one area that seemed to have focused on and made it very easy to adjust the levels. So that sounds awesome. Essentially, he's saying, no, it doesn't. This is something that teams have been doing for a long time. But again, he does say that there is time required to optimize it for that system. Whenever you're taking time away from a dev, they are choosing, it is the scale of economy. They're choosing to spend time on one thing as opposed to optimizing for the Series X, for example. That's why when we say first-party games for PlayStation, The Last of Us Part 2, they can just focus on that system and they get such good quality out of the system, or Horizon Zero Dawn and what have you, because they only need to focus on that and they can draw every single inch of power. It may turn out to be only a little bit better than if they developed it with other systems in mind, but we have historically seen that it is true. If you develop for a singular system, you will get some of the best quality you can out of that particular system. So even though he says, no, it doesn't affect it, I mean, the history has proven time and time again that that's not necessarily true. Now with next gen, some things, maybe it's just the GPUs and CPUs are so much more powerful that it only leads to a little percentage here and there. So you won't be able to tell nearly as much as you would with maybe this previous gen. Now he goes on to talk about the PS5. So his friend I asked about PS5 dev kits versus Series X dev kits and which console has the upper hand. His reply, PS5 dev kit is a bit easier to work with. It is well thought out and designed in a ways that make it feel easier to tweak and change versus Anaconda, so the Series X. To say I prefer one over the other isn't really fair because both are very good, but it is a bit easier to work with the PS5. But Anaconda has the upper hand in terms of us being able to really push the effects. The difference will come down to effects over resolutions for us. So both dev kit pushing 4K 60 on Borderlands 3, and we have almost zero loading times in both kits. Looking at them side by side, the image is very similar. Again, this is a thing that I think we're going to see for third-party games, is the Series X and the PS5, because they are developing for all these multiple systems. Again, they're not focusing necessarily on just one or the other. They're going to look very, very similar for third-party games. The difference will come down to first-party and what you have available for each individual console. The first-party for the Series X or Series S is also being made for the PC. So will that harm some of the first party games? Well, it remains to be seen. In this statement he said, no, not necessarily. Again, what do you think below? Will developing for multiple platforms actually hinder the development? Speaking of multiple platforms, man, we have Xbox One OS. So Billy here, Billy Hilbert on Twitter, he discovered some more development tools, and this is a little breakdown of what he discovered. A new codename, Edinburgh. Edinburgh is a town in Scotland. I've actually been there, really cool. Edinburgh is possibly a new development kit for the Xbox Series X, and they are rumoring that it could be an all digital Xbox Series X. So not only is there the Series X with the disc, there's now apparently a Series X with no disc, just like the PlayStation 5, and then you have the Series S, which is going to be the cheaper version. So there's going to be 3 SKUs for the same console. So just crazy. Spotted by the software developer, the Edinburgh codename appears to be an Xbox One OS underneath Anaconda, the original Xbox Series X codename, and Lockhart, the rumored secondary console in the upcoming Xbox family that's said to be officially announced in the coming weeks. So are there going to be 3 Xbox consoles? That's just crazy. I mean, it's always better for the consumer to have a little bit more choice. If you can save $50, $70 and still get the Series X and go all digital, that sounds great. I personally always want the discs because digital, you have less control over whether they go on sale. You can't buy any used games. You just have a lot more flexibility in buying a cheaper game when you have a digital option as well. So go ahead, check that out. That sounds amazing. So that about does it for the weekly gaming news recap. So much happened this week. Let me know what you think about the possible third console coming from Microsoft. Do you think that developing for so many actual SKUs can hold back some of the first party games? And are excited for July 20th, that week, to see what Xbox has in store for us? I certainly am. Just more games, the better. Now, don't forget, we have a cookie review coming right up. So we're going to start with the Georgia Pecan Butterscotch Chip Cookies coming from Savannah, Georgia. So very excited. Now, these are little guys. These are Trader Joe's. Almost remind me the size of kind of like a Chips Ahoy cookie. Little bitty babies there. Now, they are hard crust here. Smell really nice. You definitely smell the butterscotch. A little bit of a kind of a sugar cookie vibe. As always, we've got the density test. Ooh, the flaky. So, bite into them. All right, first bite is interesting. All right, so if you get these, there's also a little bit of nuts in here that I enjoy. These are pecans. Butterscotch pecan cookies. So, if you are someone who just swallows your food, you're missing out. Because you bite into it, and initially it's like, okay, you can taste a little bit of the butterscotch. It's good. And then you chew it for like another couple of seconds, and you really savor it. You're tasting like the brown sugar and the butter. They are hard cookies, definitely crispy. So they would be good for like if you're looking for a biscotti type cookie to go along with tea perhaps, or maybe even some coffee. Really tasty. Also, it's about like 10 of these for a serving, so it's nice. You actually get this whole little bag is full of them. So pretty good size, but leave about $2. I'd give this a good out of a great cookie. Really enjoy it. I'll be having this with some coffee for sure this weekend. Yeah, go ahead and check these out. I do approve. Really nice. Again, you get more of the brown sugar butter coming through. So again, Georgia Pecan Butterscotch Chip Cookies. So go ahead and check these out over at Trader Joe's. Again, my name is Maddie. My girlfriend's reaching for these in the corner. So you want them? No? I'll give them to you later. Again, my name is Maddie. This has been your weekly gaming news recap right here on Sodi Pop on YouTube. Again, follow me on the 3Ts and IG, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. And then, of course, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your July 4th.
Be yourself.
And eat a cookie. Bye.